Today on All Things 80s, it's time for another random Star Wars figure review. Welcome back to All Things 80s. It's time for one of these random Star Wars figure reviews. Let's just go straight into it and pick us a number. So, number 71 has given us the Imperial Commander, and I should stress this was a figure I did not have as a kid. It's one I always admired, but for whatever reason it never made its way into my collection. Now, it's a stunning looking figure, it has to be said, and comes complete with its blue Imperial blaster. Now, released in the second wave of Empire Strikes Back figures in 1981, this was a great figure to add to your collection, especially given the fact that there weren't that many Imperials released in terms of figures, so this one addressed that problem. Now, variant-wise, the main variant I'm aware of is to do with the face sculpt. There's a rounder face and there's a thinner face, and I have heard it mentioned that there are some where the boots extend further up the leg, but I think that's something that is really being a bit picky. As I said, blue Imperial blaster, which looks really good on this figure. In terms of detailing of sculpt, it's not at all bad actually. There's a lot of nice sort of wrinkles in the fabric, some insignia up here, bit of silver paint, obviously all primarily cast in black plastic. Not sure if this one had the same glorious smell as the TIE Fighter pilot, but in fact, let me just see if this one still retains any aromas. Actually, it's got a very slight whiff of that glorious Kenner figure smell. Now, as I said, released under the Empire Strikes Back wave, so obviously came on the Empire Strikes Back card and Return of the Jedi cards, both using an interesting image of General Veers, which I'm finding a bit confusing, so maybe someone can comment down below what it's all about, because the AT-AT commander we got, the card back depicted the AT-AT itself and not the commander. The image used for this Imperial commander is of course General Veers wearing a much lighter grey coloured uniform. Not released on the Power of the Force card, but it was released on the Tri-Logo card in Europe. In terms of my opinion on this figure, it's favourable. I think it's a great looking figure, and just seeing it in my hand now, it's one that I really wished I had got as a kid. But like I said, I was one of those kids who was very focused on getting the figures of the heroes. So I had all the looks, all the hands, but very few background characters. But this is one that I definitely do admire, and I think it does look good. And in terms of the recent Retro Collection Grand Moff Tarkin figure, the sculpt isn't at all dissimilar to that, and I wouldn't have been at all surprised if Hasbro had sort of based their Tarkin figure on this body, which does look good. Everything's in proportion, and as I mentioned earlier, the only sort of thing to look out for is if you have a rounder head or a skinnier head. Not having another one to compare it to, I think this one here is the slightly rounder head, but I could of course be wrong on that. I am not, or I do not claim to be a toy expert. I'm just someone who has great memories of the 80s, and that's what I like to share. That was a look at the Imperial Commander, and whilst I never had it as a kid, it's one I always wanted, but for whatever reason, I either couldn't find it, or more likely, I was spending my pocket money on my favourite characters, of course, being the heroes. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that quick review. Thank you for watching, with special thanks going out to the patrons. Please like, please subscribe, and as always, stay tuned for more videos from All Things 80s.